Today's topic is corrosion, that is the destruction of metal by chemical process. So you can see here an electrochemical cell is set up, and one will be the anode half cell and other will be the cathode half cell, and due to which there will be the redox reaction. So this is the anode area, you can see, and this is the cathode area. So electrochemical process occurs due to which corrosion takes place. Now the dissolution rate, it depends on the ratio, surface ratio between the two metals. So this is an example of a simple electrochemical cell in which this is the anode half cell, this is the cathode half cell, and electrolyte is there. So due to the oxidation and reduction reaction, there will be flow of electrons and current starts flowing. We should know what are the various factors which affect corrosion. Corrosion depends on many factors, like the presence of moisture is must. Secondly, amount of oxygen which is dissolved in water. Then the temperature, because when we increase the temperature, the rate of chemical reaction increases. And the presence of electrolyte in the water, and of course the purity of the metal, because greater the purity, slower will be the corrosion. So this is the reaction which is occurring, that is anode half cell, it will be showing oxidation, and in cathode there will be reduction. So overall reaction will be formation of ferric hydroxide, which will further converted into iron oxide with X molecules of water, that is rust. Now there are various theories which are related to the corrosion, so we'll be discussing them one by one. Let us now talk about the theories of corrosion. There are different theories of corrosion, like electrochemical wet theory, dry theory, acid theory. So first theory which I am discussing is electrochemical wet theory. As the name suggests, an electrochemical cell will be set up, that is, it will be having an anode half cell and cathode half cell. Oxidation will occur at anode and reduction will occur at the cathode. As you can see from the reaction, anode reaction, it is showing oxidation, iron getting converted into ferrocyanins, and cathode half cell showing reduction, that is formation of hydroxyl ions. Now if you see the reaction, there can be oxygen absorption or there can be hydrogen evolution. Oxygen absorption, it is taking place in acidic medium in presence of dissolved oxygen. So oxygen in acidic medium, that is giving you water, and in neutral or alkaline medium it will give you hydroxide. Whereas if you see the hydrogen evolution, that is in absence of oxygen. So in acidic medium, this will be the reaction in which hydrogen ions, they are getting converted into H2, and in alkaline medium it is giving you H2 plus twice OH. So this OH which is formed, that will be reacting with ferrocyanins which are produced due to the oxidation in the anode reaction, and that will be giving you ferrous hydroxide, which will further oxidize to rust. Now let us talk about the dry theory. As the name suggests, this will occur in absence of moisture. So metal in the anode half cell, it will get oxidized to metal ions, and in cathode half cell, the oxygen will get converted into oxide. So this will be the overall reaction. So you will be getting a metal oxide layer in this case. So as you can see here, this is the metal. So in presence of oxygen, it is undergoing corrosion. Now whatever metal oxide layer is formed, whether it is porous or non-porous, that will decide whether further corrosion will occur or not. If it is porous, then it will undergo further corrosion, and if it is non-porous, then the corrosion will take place only on the upper surface of the metal. Next is the acid theory. This type of corrosion, it occurs due to the presence of acids which are surrounding it. So those areas which are industrial areas, they show such type of corrosion. The iron is corroded by atmospheric carbon dioxide, moisture and oxygen. So as you can see here, first there will be formation of carbonic acid, and then it undergoes series of reactions, and finally it give you ferric hydroxide. This ferric hydroxide will be further oxidized to iron oxide with X molecules of water. Waterline corrosion is an example of concentration cell corrosion, because the concentration of oxygen, it varies. This will be the cathodic part, which is having oxygen, and which is oxygen deficient, that will be the anodic part, and here oxidation of iron will occur, and these two will combine to give you ferrous hydroxide, which will further oxidize to rust. This is also example of concentration cell. One is higher oxygen concentration, other is having low oxygen concentration. So the one with higher oxidation concentration, that will act as cathode, other will act as anode, and again same reaction will occur, that is iron will undergo oxidation, and in cathode there will be reduction, it will give you ferrous hydroxide, and that will be further oxidized to ferric iron oxide. This is crevice corrosion. Again, the area which is in the crevice, that will be oxygen deficient, and other exposed part, that will have sufficient oxygen, so there will be difference in the concentration of oxygen. As a result, cathode and anode half cell will be set up. In pitting corrosion also, the area which is inside the pit, that is oxygen deficient, it will act as anode, and the remaining area that will act as cathode. So electrochemical cell will be set up, and finally we will get ferrous hydroxide, which will be oxidized to Fe2O3 with X molecules of water. In intergranular corrosion, generally when we make alloys, we are mixing metals, so at the time of mixing there is no proper mixing, and sometimes intergranular only cracks they develop. So area which is under the crack, that will be oxygen deficient, it will act as cathode, and the remaining portion will act as anode. So as a result, the corrosion will occur. In stress corrosion also, the area which is under stress, that is having less oxygen comparatively, it will act as cathode, whereas the remaining portion will act as anode. And so electrochemical cell is set up, so it will undergo oxidation and reduction, and finally you will get rust. Now let us talk about how to protect the metals. The best way is to do oiling, or paints are applied, so that we can cut off the supply of either the oxygen or moisture, and electrochemical cell cannot be set up. Or varnish also you can use. Another method is galvanization, in which you will be using a layer of metal which is more active than iron. As a result, it will undergo oxidation process, thus protecting the iron. Then cathodic protection is also there, that is the metal which you want to protect, you will make it as cathode, and as a result corrosion will occur of the part which is anode. Even anodic protection is there to protect the metals. So beside these methods, there are other methods, like as I told you, protective coating in the form of electroplating, spraying, dipping, metal cladding, and by using impressed current, or by using the galvanic anode. Cathodic and anodic inhibitors are there, or you can do proper designing so that no concentration cell is set up. So these are the methods by which you can avoid corrosion.